Akira
The Don.
He's got clout.
Buckle.
Perfect.
It's not a good solution.
Who put this there? Nice. Yeah, what up, baby? Welcome to the Meaning Stream. I'm your host, Akira The Don. All aboard Starship Wave Rider, we going deep. It's Monday, you know what that means, baby. It's Meaning Wave. It's Meaning Wave Monday. That's what happens every Monday. It's just we do Meaning Wave live, baby. We go all in, just like James Altucher told us to. Yeah. And it's a beautiful day to be alive here at the peak of recorded Human Days to be Alive by Jove. Shouts out to everybody logged in. Who's in the building? What up, Eamon Fitzgerald? What up, Angelo Zimmerman? What up, John McGarvey? Welcome, one and all. We're doing a very special live set tonight. The first of a series. We're calling it
Jbpwave Chronicle.
Maybe Jbpwave Chronicles. I think Jbpwave Chronicle. I like the definitive. Chronicle. Yeah. And what that is going through the entire existing Jbpwave archives and chronicling them in the form of some live sets and an epic playlist. If you go to Spotify, you can find that Jbpwave playlist. It has been organized in a fashion that makes sense, that tells a sequential story that takes you from A to B to C to D, all the way back to Z, baby. And we're doing a series of live sets of that Jbpwave Chronicle as I work on the new Jbpwave LP, which if you were watching my story today on Instagram, you'll see another couple of songs coming together. Very epic, very joyful. Also today I discovered entirely synchronistically, I began work on this album last week, you know, and this week on TikTok of all places, this song, the vocal version of this song, Art, featuring Jordan Peterson, from the last album, Father, is trending on, is going, what's the word, viral on TikTok. And now over 7,000 people have made videos of themselves making art to this song, or making art and playing this song on top of it, which really is quite the bloody thing. You know, I'm not really much of a TikTok person. I have the page, but I've never done a great deal with it. You know, I've never done a great deal with it, for obvious reasons. To the point that I find it difficult to even open the app, by Jove. Ridiculous. How does this thing work? Oh, there you go. So yeah, there's tons of these things. I could be doing this better. Look, people are drawing people on the train to it. Hush crowd. See that? Anyway, I should have done this on the screen. There's thousands of them. There's a guy doing a thing with a rubber. Oh, if you're listening to the podcast, a guy is like holding a rubber over some kind of shaving device while playing this song. You know, there's people painting, speed painting. There's people doing eye makeup. And there's literally thousands and thousands and thousands of these things. So, you know, as always, what do we say here at MEANINGWAVE HQ? We say, you know, look for the synchronicities that will tell you you're going in the direction of rightness. And I suppose, starting work on a new Jbpwave record, and then this last song from the previous record becoming some kind of viral trend on TikTok, is one of those synchronistical sort of signposts, I think. What do you think, brothers and sisters? What do you think? Also, yeah, they're all back together again celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving today. And that, by the way, I've got to say happy Canadian Thanksgiving to all my Canadian friends and family out there. God bless you. Thank you for, you know, sharing your Canadian light with the world. I tweeted this earlier, you know. I'm grateful to you and I'm grateful for you. And so say all of us, I think. MAC! I mean, it really is very magical. I had that, you know, the thing I get where I have like a single manly tear well up on the right side of my face. Just all these videos, literally thousands and thousands of videos of people painting and drawing and making things to this record, you know. Very beautiful. Very dope. And wow, shouts out to everybody locked in. Good to see you all. You know, I had another great day. I have a tweet going crazy on Twitter right now, and it's some. Whenever you do anything nice, you know, some people get upset. All I said was people denying the fact this is the best time to be alive in recorded human history spent the past 6 months in heated apartments playing Animal Crossing and crying over politics on Twitter. My grandfather was taken from his school and put in a Russian concentration camp. Bless them. That's what I said. Well, I also then said 99% of your ancestors had to shit in a hole in the ground and wipe their asses with leaves, but keep on broadcasting to the world on a pocket-sized supercomputer about how awful the world is and how much your life sucks. 2020 so hard, this is the worst year ever. 99.999% of your ancestors died in squalor after a few hard decades at the very fucking best. You have a fucking heated waterfall in your house. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I did get upset. Passionate. Every single one of your ancestors would carve their legs off with a rusty spoon to get to live your life for a single weekend. You live better than kings did. All you do is piss and moan about things outside your control. And do fuck all about that within. What a waste. And I posted a link to the Doom It's a Bloomer playlist, you know? Anyway, that thing has gone crazy, and still going crazy. It's had 500,000 views or something, and da-da-da-da-da. And most people have been very nice, but of course you hit that little seam of people who just send you straight up abuse. All that istophobe stuff. They're very racist. This person was like, racist and sexist they are. Like, oh yeah, of course a white man would say that. A straight white man, they said. They're sexist and racist and homophobic or whatever. It's the phobic of whatever you do with your junk, you know? There's some horrible people out there. You'd have thought there'd be terms and services that would stop people spewing such hate speech. I think you could call it that, hateful speech, you know? It seems hateful. And don't we have terms and conditions to stop people spewing such hateful speech? You know, they were doing a sweet little Gal Gadot again today. You know, she's going to play that Greek lady Cleopatra in a film, and they're very upset about this, calling her all sorts of horrible things. You know, what with she's Jewish, they don't seem to like that. I was sure the internet had all sorts of procedures for dealing with these istophobiasms. But I guess not. Baby. I guess it's a free-for-all. Well, luckily, I am not affected by the opinions of morons! Or really that much the opinion of wonderful people either, you know? It's very important to, not be affected by these external things, while at the same time, looking around you and gleaning what is to be gleaned of use. By Jove! Anyway, it's a beautiful day to be alive here at the peak of recorded human civilization. I think, pretty sure the data suggests that it's definitely better being alive now for more people than it ever has been before, and you're a lot less likely to die in the birth of child or getting beaten around the head by a rock. You know, dysentery, the plague, stuff of that nature. You know, pretty sure most people who are tuned into this have got a supercomputer more powerful than whatever was used to send men into space in the 1960s. Shouts out to them. The president's on TV, or at least he was earlier, saying they're going to put someone on Mars next week and a lady on the moon as well. Some kind of person on Mars and a lady on the moon, a moon lady, by Jove. What a time to be alive. You know, imagine that, a moon lady. Shouts out to all the space people, you know. Space people. And, that's the direction we're going in tonight. We're going on a beautiful cruise into the cosmos with your boy, Jordan B. Peterson. Shouts out to Jordan B. Peterson. He's a Canadian. Of course, on Canada Day, we have to do a Jordan B. Peterson set. It would be rude not to. Rude not to. What up, regular father, who says, as a regular father, I understand being called an istophobe. Weird, that. Weird. Very strange. Walking Mall Poet says, by Jove, I forgot to smash my like. Yeah, I can see there's a bunch of you who have not yet smashed the like, and I would urge you to do so. Do it for the ancestors. You know, do it for the ancestors. The ancestors, they didn't get to smash like. You do. You're at the peak of recorded human civilization. You get to smash like. By Jove! Anyway, good to see you all. And, since it's Canadian Thanksgiving Day, and we ask similar questions to this quite a lot, and it's a good question to ask. You should ask it yourself every day, baby. We're going to do the international high five, and I want you to let me know where in the world your body is, baby. Where you at? You're in the MAZ now, but where did you come from? And what are you thankful for? I'm thankful for Canadians. Canadians in general, and also a very special Canadian family. You know, they're like the Simpsons of Canada, you know. And that would be the Petersons. So I would say happy Canadian Day to the Petersons. Thank you for everything you've done and continue to do for this humble species of humans. What up, Angelo Zimmerman in the house? What up, Robert Easley? What up, Bender? What up, Matt Carter? What up, Patrick Smith? What up, John Hanson? What up, David Ewing? What up, Word XP, Toronto, Canada? David Ewing in CA, thankful for MEANINGWAVE. Word XP, Toronto, Canada, thankful for my mum and her good health. Still rocking it at 70. Get after it, or should I say...
You gotta get after it.
Yes. Richard Young said, I heard someone say today, if what I'm doing would have upset my ancestors, I'm probably doing it right. I hope that girl finds her way to the MAZ. Me too. Although, you know, she's obviously infected with the mind virus and would need to be quarantined and you know, drip-fed MEANINGWAVE to get her healthy. Zachary Brooks, thankful for the MAZ. Marquette, Michigan. Jacob Chapper, Austin, Texas, thankful for the amazing procedure and groceries we have such a super easy access to. Yeah. Good point. Very good point. Very, very, very good points. Aiden Dicastra, thankful MEANINGWAVE. Daniel Collegio, thankful for you at the moment, and meaning's pretty great. All hail the Petersons, saying what's up from Santa Fe. Nice. Shouts out to Santa Fe. Santa Fe is beautiful. Kyla Sherrod is in the house. What's cracking, baby? Plays record. Florida, aka Fla Fla. Thankful for my husband's bar exam is tomorrow and that chaos will be over soon. Prayers for him tomorrow, infinitely appreciated. We pray that bar gets raised and smashed by Joe. Aiden Dicastra, Edmonton was cracking. Surgeon's Edge in the rain, thankful for a roof. I know, right? Imagine that. Most of your ancestors didn't have a roof. Pretty weird. No roof. Internet Crustacean, West Point, NY, thankful for MEANINGWAVE. Robert Easley, the Ape Suit is in Chicago, and I'm grateful for my family. And JBP getting well. I know, right? Looking good at that table. That table. Looking good. And you know, as I've been saying all along, if you wish, you know, to be a phoenix, first you must burn. And there can be no epic hero's journey comeback without something to come back from. By Jove, all these things are necessary. The world is a story, and the story's got to be a good one, you know. And this is a good one. Andrew Pullman in Australia, thankful that I still have work and have not been terribly affected by Tom Hanks' dirty virus. Tom Hanks and his foul disease running around causing all sorts of problems, and we, you know, we transcend them regardless. Alec Moran, thankful for family and faith, Dundee, Michigan. Get after it. Mike Betters, Pixford, thanks to JBP for all the wisdom and for leading me to Akira and thus more wisdom. It's the circle of wisdom. Circle of wisdom, baby. Yo. Yo, yo, yo. Yo. So many beautiful messages. So many beautiful messages, brothers and sisters. David Ewing says, I'm thankful you took my suggestion and made a Feynman wave. Yes. Yes, David Ewing. Mike Bessers, we gave you your righteousness. Odd Main Gaming's in the house, says hello, friends. Spagandi Falafel, thankful for the ancestors. Exactly! Cindy Bailey, my soul vessel is cooking some pork fried rice and I'm thankful for bacon. Bacon. Messed me up talking about bacon. Prince Jabrika's XV Seattle, I'm thankful for the ability to go forth into the wilderness and maintain the tradition of harvesting my food from the great beasts of land. I'm also grateful for the gym. Yes! Exactly.
Akira.
Druff 42 Philly suburbs. Dan and I are grateful for the wave. Epic activities only 2020 and beyond. Yes! Yes! You already know. Zach Doolin, yeah boy! Val says shouts out to the sun, and I agree. Make some noise for the sun, baby! That's what trees come out of. Yeah! That's what, when you burn a log, it's really stored sun that's coming out. We know that from a song on MEANINGWAVE Masterpeces, new album out now. Alan Moran says it's crazy how college makes so many people dumbasses. For money. Nothing like paying 40 years of debt for mental indoctrination. I know, what a wonderful system. Matt Carter, I'm thankful for the language we use to unify together. Yes! Mad Horse, grateful for falling leaves. Joshua Tran, Seattle, thankful for the technology that lets me find jobs all over the country when I would have been limited to just my small area 20 years ago. Say it again for the fools in the back. YouTube hero Alex says, love seeing the chat so busy. It's lovely seeing the chat so busy. It's a great deal to read very fast. It's lucky I made the incremental improvements of putting a great big whop-off screen in front of me here, so I can read and keep my eyes in the general vicinity of the camera so I can address you properly, like Joe Budden. Not Joe Budden, who's that mad old guy? You know the one who reads everything off a screen. You'd be like reading things, he goes, beep, beep, beep. So he wants you to scroll it. I do my own scrolling. My other incremental improvement is I got a slide out desk thing here with a mouse here so I can control the regulator which does the streaming from the DJ booth. Just a little bit better every day, baby. It's so cool. That's all you got to do. Just make things a little bit better every day and you will get to the promised land. You know, you'll get to glory. You'll get to glory. You know, right now I feel like I'm in a real place of glory with these streams. You know, things run real smooth. Things are real beautiful, you know, and I'm very, very grateful. Very, very grateful to all of you. Because without your support and without you being here and, you know, this wouldn't be possible, would it? This would be the tree falling in the woods with no one there to hear it, not making a sound. Yeah. Did we read everyone's everything? No, they're still coming in. Bender is thankful to good friends with comfy couches. Exactly. John Packers hailing from across the pond. Akira, what's cracking, baby?
Akira.
What up, Plastic Owl? What up, Andy Burrows? Shouts out to all of you. We're going in with the first of a series of special Jbpwave live event sets.
Jbpwave Chronicle.
But before we do that, we've got to have an international high five. We've got to do that. It's the thing that binds us together across space and time. Space and time. And what it does is you do a high five, and that gives energy, right? But then by holding it and doing that high five, you then get all the energy from everyone else who did the high five. Feels like it works. Are you ready? Are you ready, baby? Eamon Fitzgerald says we get into 200 tonight. 200 what? 200 what, baby? 200 kilowatts of vibes? I think so. We need a close-up, you know? We need a close-up. Yeah, that's right, Alan Watts. Wrap it up, baby. 3, 2, 1. What? Nice. Woo. That felt good, baby. I gotta say, that felt good. How was that for you? Word XP says, I feel the power! That's right. Alright, we're about to go in with this special set. Before that, though, I'm going to play you one song from the new album, MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces 2. MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces 2 dropped on Bandcamp and YouTube on Friday, and it will be on Spotify and all streaming platforms this Friday. That's called a staggered release, i.e. Akira The Don's new distributor making a booby. And but that's cool because it just elongates the thing and makes it a bit more somehow special, I think. That's what I'm saying. And this is one of my favorite tracks on the record, and a lot of other people's favorite tracks on the record. It's not what you might call perhaps a single, because they would never play it on the radio. But it's an epic and powerful record, and I'm very honored to have this gentleman in the MEANINGWAVE universe. He is a Canadian. a fellow Canadian, a fellow of the Canadians out there, and the Canadian we're celebrating tonight. So it makes sense that we play this record, you know. And I've got to say, one of the proudest moments of my life was when this fellow was sending me messages and just sent me a really, really beautiful message. And it was one of the loveliest things I ever read, frankly. And yeah, and I'm just very honored to be able to share this with you tonight, brothers and sisters. This is a song called Speak Publicly from MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces 2. This is Akira The Don featuring Norm Macdonald. Please keep an eye on my spaceship. I have to grab my liquid.
I find like I have some beliefs that are too inflammatory to even discuss, unfortunately. Because there are certain things in society that you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. And so I'll just never say that. I'll just leave them in my own way. Because there are certain things in society that you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. And so I'll just never say that. I'll just leave them in my own way. But mostly, I find all these things ridiculous. First of all, I hate that we force people into identifying themselves by little tiny... because we oppress people, we further oppress them by forcing them to identify themselves as what I consider less than human. So if someone says, I am proud to be black, I go, that's too bad for that guy, because it's a retarded thing to be proud of. We see it with white power. If someone says, I'm proud to be white, we see how ridiculous that sounds. But we don't see it when a person says, because they've been oppressed, I'm proud to be black. But it is ridiculous. We push them into a corner where now they're going to spend their whole life identifying themselves by the pigment of their skin, which is a sad waste of life. You say, I'm proud to be gay, that's what I am, and that's how I'll live my life. Well, boy, you're really limiting yourself there, and it's too bad. And I know you've been forced into it by being pushed down and oppressed, but it's still very, very sad. And I don't think of myself as Canadian. And I think it's a terrible thing to say you're proud to be a Canadian or proud to be an American. All that stuff is nonsense. You may as well be proud to have lungs. You didn't accomplish nothing. You just born somewhere. Or, you know, you were just born with a skin that's a certain color. Or born with a sexual attraction to a certain type of person. That stuff's all... it's all just little miniature things in life that are so unimportant. And when people try to tell me that God is not important, but that this nonsense is important, I couldn't disagree more. Because there are certain things in society that you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. And so I'll just never say that. I'll just leave them in my little head. There are certain things in society that you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. And so I'll just never say that. I'll just leave them in my little head. There are certain things in society you're not allowed to believe
or speak publicly. So I just never say them, and I'll just leave them in my little head. See, there are certain things in society you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. So I'll just never say them, and I'll just leave them in my little head. Happy Canadian Day! Happy Canadian Day, Norm Macdonald. You beautiful, proud Canadian. Host of the Candies. The guy who found that other guy under a bridge and sorted him out for him, you know. God bless. Norm Macdonald's one of my favorite living humans. You know, humans. I think Norm Macdonald, he's like our Mark Twain. You know, at the very least. The very least. And I'm very, very grateful and proud to have him in the MEANINGWAVE universe, by Jove, and very much looking forward to bringing more Norm Wave in the future. Make some noise for Norm Macdonald, brothers and sisters. Oh! Woof. Woof. You know, it's a real honor. I had some great people on this record. Theo Von sent me a really beautiful message last night as well about his song, and yeah, I love that song too. But he's not Canadian, so we're not going to play that. No, what we're doing today, brothers and sisters, is we're going to go in on the first of this series of Jbpwave live streams, live sets, live shows here in the heart of occupied YouTube, MAZ, MEANINGWAVE Autonomous Zone. It is time! Brothers and sisters! Make some noise! If you happen to be standing, I urge you to stand up straight. With your shoulders back, by Jove. Hey! Buckle up, buck up. We're broadcasting live from the peak of human civilization, by Jove. And we got one man in the building, joining us across space and time on this most auspicious day in this most auspicious year of our Lord 2028. Peak of recorded human civilization, greatest year to be alive in the history of mankind.
The first chapter I have in my book is called Stand Up Straight with Your Shoulders Back, and it's an injunction to be combative, not least to further your career, let's say, but also to adopt a stance of ready engagement with the world and to reflect that in your posture.
I kind of have an affinity for lobsters. When a lobster loses a fight, it kind of crunches down, so he looks smaller. When he wins a fight, he stretches out, looks bigger, and so he's signaling to other lobsters the tally of his victory. So you think, well, so what? The lobster runs on serotonin, neurochemical, and if the lobster loses, the serotonin levels go down, and if he wins, the serotonin levels go up. And when the serotonin levels go up, he stretches out, and he's a confident lobster. And one of the consequences of that is if a lobster loses a battle and you give him the equivalent of antidepressant, then he stretches out and he'll go fight again.
Stand up straight, stand up straight, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Stand up straight, hey, stand up straight, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Stand up straight, I stand up straight, I stand up straight with your shoulders back. Stand up straight, I stand up straight. Stand up straight with your shoulders back.
So antidepressants work on lobsters. And you think, well, who cares? It's like, no. You don't get it. We diverged from lobsters from an evolutionary perspective 350 million years ago, and it's the same circuit. It's absolutely unbelievable. And that shows you how deep inside you, how basic, how primordial that circuit is in you. It's sizing other people up and looking at where they fit in the hierarchy. The idea of the hierarchy is at least 350 million years old. And so I read that and I think, well, so much for the idea that human hierarchies are a socio-cultural construct. It's like, no, that's wrong. It's not just a little bit wrong, it's unbelievably wrong. It's mind-bogglingly wrong. Lobsters have hierarchies. That's 1/3 of a billion years ago. Okay, that's not a social construction. It's part of being itself. And if you only see a hierarchy as power and tyranny, then you're looking at the world wrong. Stand up straight.
Hey!
Stand up straight.
Hey!
Stand up straight.
Put your shoulders back. Stand up straight. Hey, stand up straight. Hey, stand up straight. Put your shoulders back.
Stand up straight.
Hey!
Stand up straight.
Hey, stand up straight.
Stand up straight. Stand up straight.
Hey!
Stand up straight.
Hey!
Stand up straight.
Hey!
Put your shoulders back. So this basically says, I'm open to the world. But what it also says is I can handle being open to the world. So it signifies competence and confidence. The deepest Christian idea is that you should accept the vulnerability of being. That's the acceptance of the crucifixion. You're at the X where all the suffering takes place. You gonna whine about that? No, and get resentful and bitter about it? Or are you gonna say, bring it on? You can handle it, no matter what it is. And the idea is that if you can do that, you will transcend the tragedy. And it's like, well, could that be true? Well, you admire the courageous, so, well, how courageous can you get? That's the question. How courageous can you get? Well, you practice. Stand up straight, stand up straight, stand up straight, with your shoulders back. Stand up straight,
Hey!
stand up straight,
Hey, stand up straight. Put your shoulders back.
stand up straight,
Hey!
stand up straight,
Hey!
stand up straight, stand up straight.
Stand up straight. Hey, stand up straight. Hey, stand up straight. Put your shoulders back.
You want to present yourself to the world in a manner that doesn't disgrace you in some sense. You don't want to disgrace yourself because the consequence of disgrace is emotional dysregulation. More pain, less positive emotion. And so the best way to present yourself is to stand up forthrightly and to stretch out, and to occupy some space. If you straighten up and you present yourself in that manner, then other people are more likely to take you seriously. And that means they'll start treating you as if you're a number 1 lobster instead of a number 10 lobster, because one of the general rules of thumb about how to be successful is to confront things that frighten you forthrightly and with courage. And that's kind of a universal strategy for success. And so that's what the first chapter is about.
What? MAC, make some noise. We got Jordan B. Peterson in the house. Woo!
Okay, so here's the problem. There's a big problem here. The problem is, it's true.
You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. God only knows why. You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. Hey! You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. God only knows why.
Maybe you're too short, or you're not as beautiful as you could be, or your grandparent was a serf. Likely, because almost everybody's great-grandparent was. You're not as smart as you could be, and you have a sick relative, and you have your own physical problem. Frankly, you're a mess. Frankly, you're a mess. And you're oppressed in every possible way, including your ancestry and your biology. The entire sum of human history has conspired to produce victimized you with all your individual pathological problems. It's like, yes. True.
You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. God only knows why. You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. Hey, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. God only knows why.
Okay, but the problem is that it is true, and so if you take the oppressed, you have to fractionate them and fractionate them and fractionate them and fractionate them, and it's like, you're a woman. Yeah, okay, well, I'm a black woman. Well, I'm a
oppression. Let's fix all your oppression. Let's fix all your oppression.
And we'll take every single thing into account, and we'll fix yours too. We'll take every single thing into account. It's like,
No, you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't. Because you can't.
you can't.
It is.
Technically impossible.
You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed.
God only knows why.
You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed.
Hey!
You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed.
Hey!
You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed.
God only knows why.
First of all, you can't even list all the ways that you're oppressed. Second, how are you going to weight them? Third, who's going to decide? That's the bloody thing. Who's going to decide? Who's going to decide? That's the thing. You have to fractionate the oppressed all the way down to the level of the individual. Oh, that's what the West figured out. It's not an accident that the axiomatic Western individual is someone who is on the cross and tortured. It's like, yes, right, exactly.
You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed.
God only knows why.
You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed.
Hey!
You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed.
God only knows why.
So what do you do about that? Well, I thought about that for a long time too.
Hey!
It's like, well, you don't get together in a dead law, because all that does is allow you to be and suffer from none of the consequences. That's a bad idea. So how about we don't do that? Well, there's a deep idea in the West too. It's like, pick up your damn suffering and bear it. Try to be a good person so you don't make it worse.
Knows why.
Well, that's a truth, you know?
What? Bruh, amazing, make some noise. That's your OP. That's your oppressed. You are OP from Jbpwave Genesis. Who wants to own that album on vinyl? Who would like to own that album on vinyl, by Jove? Who's excited that the Alan Watts vinyl albums and single have been mailed out this week? By Jove. Yeah, baby, it's real. I heard word around town. I heard something along the lines of, what were they saying? I think it was, MEANINGWAVE exists! Oh yeah, that was it. Turns out it's true. It's true. MEANINGWAVE exists! And Case just upgraded their membership to level 2, by Jove. God bless you. Shouts out to everyone's support, and thank you, Richard Young. Thank you, Fran Harkat. Says clean your room. Cedric Tej, what's up? Says thank you, JBP, for leading so many of us here. What a natural phenomenon. Alright, chill. Who wants to live in Utopia? I don't know if you do, baby. I don't know if that's what you need, or even if you want it all. Here's the thing. What?
Human beings don't want utopia, comfort, and certainty. They want adventure and chaos and uncertainty. Human beings don't want utopia, comfort, and certainty. They want adventure and chaos and uncertainty. Satan.
What?
In Milton's Paradise Lost, Satan decides that he can do without the transcendent. He can do without God. He can do without God. He can do without God. And that's why he foments rebellion. It's something like that. And the consequence of that was that as soon as Satan decided what he knew was sufficient and that he could do without the transcendent, which you might think about as the domain outside of what you know, something like that. immediately he was in hell. Things get large, and then they get too large, and then they collapse. And so, in 2008, when the politicians said, too big to fail, they got something truly backwards. The statement was reversed. It should have been so big it had to fail. Human beings don't want utopian comfort and certainty. They want adventure and chaos and uncertainty. Human beings don't want utopian comfort and certainty. They want adventure and chaos and uncertainty. When I read Paradise Lost, I was studying totalitarianism, and I thought, you know, the poet, the true poet, like a prophet, is someone who has intimations of the future. Has intimations of the future. And maybe that's because the poetic mind, the philosophical or prophetic mind, is a pattern detector, and there are people who can detect the underlying, it's like the melody of a nation. Melody as in song. The song of a nation. And you see how it's going to develop across the centuries. You see that in Nietzsche, because Nietzsche, for example, in around 1860 or so, I mean, he prophesied what was going to happen in the 20th century. He said specifically that the specter of communism would kill millions of people in the 20th century. It's an amazing prophecy. Some people are very good at perfect patterns, you know, and Milton, I think, was of that sort. He had intimations of what was coming as human rationality became more and more powerful, and technology became more and more powerful. Human beings don't want utopian comfort and certainty. They want adventure and chaos and uncertainty. Human beings don't want utopian comfort and certainty. They want adventure and chaos and uncertainty. And then Milton's warning was the rational mind that generates a production and then worships it as if it's absolute immediately occupies hell. And that's what I think the story of the Tower of Babel is about. It's a warning against the expansion of a system that encompasses everything. It's a warning against totalitarian presumption, and so there's a utopian kind of vision there as well. As we can build a structure that's so large and encompassing that heaven itself. And so the very notion of a utopia was anti-human, because we're not built for static utopia. We're built for a dynamic situation where there's demands placed on us and where there's the optimal amount of uncertainty. Human beings don't want utopian comfort and certainty. They want adventure and chaos and uncertainty. Human beings don't want utopian comfort and certainty. They want adventure and chaos and uncertainty. Human beings don't want utopian comfort and certainty. They want adventure and chaos and uncertainty. Human beings don't want utopian comfort and certainty. They want adventure and chaos and uncertainty. Ow! What? Guess what, baby? Guess what? Guess what, baby? For years and years I heard people complain, oh, everything's the same now. Everything's been done now. There's no room for adventure anymore. There's no opportunity for adventure. Guess what, baby? You just got a load of it. If you so choose, if you have eyes to see, there is so much potential for adventure for you right now. Right now there is, baby. If only you would just take it, baby. It's there for you right now.
You know, if you take people and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of, you know, that they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of.
MAC makes noise!
And you don't know what the upper limits to
what?
Because you might ask yourself, like, if for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do.
What up, Ricardo C? Appreciate you, baby.
Within the value structure that you
what?
To the degree that you've done that, what would you be like?
What would you be like? What would you be like? stop wasting time? What would you be like? What would you be like if you spoke your mind?
There are remarkable people who come into the world from time to time, and there are people who do find out over decades-long periods what they could be like if they were who they were. If they spoke their being forward. And they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and we don't know the limits to that. We do not know the limits to that. And so you could say, well, in part, perhaps the reason that you're suffering unbearably can be left at your feet, because you're not everything you could be, and you know it.
And you know it. And you know it.
Because
you're not everything you could be, and you know it. And you know it. And you know it. Hey, what would you be like? What would you be like if you stopped wasting time? What would you be like? What would you be like if you spoke your mind?
And of course that's a terrible thing to admit, and it's a terrible thing to consider, but there's real promise in it, right? Because it means that perhaps there's another way that you could look at the world, another way that you could act in the world, so what it would reflect back to you would be much better than what it reflects back to you now. Imagine that many people did that. We've done a lot as human beings. We've done a lot of remarkable things, and I told you already today, for example, about 250,000 people will be lifted out of abject poverty. We're lifting people out of poverty collectively at a faster rate that's ever occurred in the history of humankind by a huge margin. So there's inequality developing in many places, and you hear lots of political agitation about that. But overall, the tide is lifting everyone up, and that's a great thing. We have no idea how fast we can multiply that. If people got their act together and really aimed at it. If people got their act together and really aimed at it.
What would you be like? What would you be like if you stopped wasting time? What would you be like? What would you be like if you spoke your mind? Yeah. What would you be like? Hey, what would you be like if you stopped wasting time? Hey, what would you be like? What would you be like if you spoke your mind? What?
My experience is with people that we're probably running at about 51% of our capacity. I often ask how many hours a day you waste or how many hours a week you waste. The classic answer is something like 4 to 6 hours a day. Inefficient studying, watching things that not only do you not want to watch, that you don't even care about, that make you feel horrible about watching after you're done. That's probably hours right there. 25 hours a week, it's 100 hours a month, that's 2.5 full work weeks, it's half a year of work weeks per year. You're wasting $50,000 a year, and you are doing that right now. And so if your life isn't everything it could be, you could ask yourself, what would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you? You'd be, who knows how much more efficient, 10 times more efficient, 20 times more efficient. You have no idea how efficient people get. It's completely, it's off the charts.
What would you be like? What would you be like if you stopped wasting time? Yeah. What would you be like? What would you be like if you spoke your mind? Hey. What would you be like? What would you be like if you stopped wasting time? What would you be like? What would you be like if you spoke your mind? Hey. What would you be like?
And if we all got our act together collectively and stop making things worse, because that's another thing people do all the time. Not only do they not do what they should to make things better, they actively attempt to make things worse because they're spiteful or resentful or arrogant or deceitful or homicidal or genocidal or all of those things all bundled together in an absolutely pathological package.
Pathological package. Pathological package.
If people stop really trying just to make things worse, we have no idea how much better they would get just because of that. So you might say, well, what would happen if you abided by your conscience for 5 years? Or what sort of position might you be in? What would you be like? What would you be like? What would you be like?
What would you be like? What would you be like if you spoke your mind? What would you be like? What would you be like? What would you be like if you stopped wasting time? What would you be like? What would you be like if you spoke your mind? Hey!
I see make some noise. And you know what I say, make some noise. That means smash them wave emojis back. Joe! What would you be like? I wondered that myself when I made this song. I did everything that was instructed to in the song. I cut out everything useless and unnecessary. And now... now look at this, baby. Wow. Feels like it works. By Jove, it feels like it works.
I read this piece of work by Jung a long while back. It was a meditation on the injunction to treat your neighbor as you would like to be treated. And what Jung pointed out, which I really liked, was that wasn't an injunction to be nice to other people. It was an invitation to reciprocity. It was something like this. It's like you should figure out how you would like to be treated, like you were taking care of yourself, not how you would like people to respond to you. It's more important than that. It's like, imagine you had a child that you really cared for, and someone said, well, people will treat this child exactly like you want them to, but you have to figure out what that is. And so then you'd have to sit down for like a month and you'd think, okay, well, how do you want your child to be treated? You don't want everyone just to be nice to him, you know. You want people to challenge him, and you want people to discipline him, and you want people to tell him when he's wrong. It's like, you don't just want everyone to be nice. That's pathetic. It's pathetic. There's no challenge in that. 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 There's no challenge in that. Challenge.
What?
Challenge in that. Challenge in that. Challenge in that. Human beings are self-conscious, and we know about our limitations, and we know about our weaknesses, and so we can have contempt for human beings in general because, you know, we're just flawed and breakable and all of that. But we know ourselves better than we know everyone else, and so you have a very acute sense of how you're not up to scratch, and so that leads naturally to a sort of self-contemptuous attitude. People are more likely to give prescription medication to their pets than to take them themselves. Imagine someone that you treat well, that you love, then try to treat yourself that way. You got to detach from yourself a bit. You got to think, okay, well, I'm a person among other people, and I deserve at least as much respect as a person among other people. I should be trying to help myself across time. And instead of being self-contemptuous and self-destructive, I need to take care of myself as if I'm potentially valuable, and to lay out my life that way. It's hard for people. They don't take care of themselves as well as they should. Of your room, take care of your things, like have some respect for yourself as a miraculous being, because that is actually what you are. There is a lot of potential within you. You're necessary more than you think to the unfolding of things. That's the thing about being an individual. It's the thing that Western civilization has always recognized, that as an individual, you have a light that you have to bring into the world, and that if you don't bring it into the world is a dimmer place, and that's a bad thing, because when the world is a dim place, it can get very, very, very dark. It isn't merely that your fate depends on whether or not you get your act together and to what degree you decide that you're going to live out your own genuine being. It isn't only your fate. It's the fate of everyone that you're networked with. There's 7 billion people in the world, and who are you? You're just one little dust mote among that 7 billion, and so it really doesn't matter what you do or don't do, but that's simply not the case. It's the wrong model, because you're at the center of a network. You're a node in a network. You're a node in a network. You're a node in a 100,000 people. Then that puts you one person away from a million, and two persons away from a billion. So that's how you're connected, and the things you do, they're like dropping a stone in a pond. The ripples move outward, and they affect things in ways that you can't fully comprehend, and it means that the things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. The terror of realizing that is that it actually starts to matter what you do. And you might say, well, that's better than living a meaningless existence. It's better for it to matter. But I mean, if you really ask yourself, would you be so sure? The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. You have the choice. I can live with no responsibility whatsoever. The price I pay is that nothing matters. Or I can reverse it and everything matters. But I have to take the responsibility that's associated with that. It's not so obvious to me that people would take the meaningful path. You know, when you say, well, nihilists suffer dreadfully because there's no meaning in their life and they still suffer. Yeah, but the advantage is they have no responsibility. So that's the payoff, and I actually think that's the motivation. Say, well, I can't help being nihilistic. All my belief systems have collapsed. It's like, yeah, maybe. Maybe you've just allowed them to collapse because it's a hell of a lot easier than acting them out. And the price you pay is some meaningless suffering, but you can always whine about that and people will feel sorry for you, and you have the option of taking the pathway of the martyr, so that's a pretty good deal, all things considered, especially when the alternative is to bear your burden properly and to live forthrightly in the world. If you live a pathological life, you pathologize your society, and if enough people do that, then it's hell. It's hell. Really. Really. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. Far more important than you. Far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. Far more important than you. Than you think. And you can read the Gulag Archipelago and you'll see exactly what hell is like. What? And then you can decide if that's a place you'd like to visit.
MAZ makes noise!
If it's a place you'd like to visit and take all your family and friends.
Hey.
Because that's what happened in the 20th century.
Right. Thank you, brothers and sisters. God bless. Yo. Shouts out to everyone's support and appreciate you. Thank you, Alan Moran. Thank you, Rick Addlesey. Freiher Katz has a question. Thank you for the $10. Says, are you planning on releasing more JBP MEANINGWAVE in the future? Am I planning? Yo, my guy. Go have a look on the story section of my Instagram, and you will see the 2 or 3 songs that we were working on today. Every day, if you keep an eye on that, you'll see us working on songs. How many songs? We hit number 9 today. I'm working it sequentially again. Apart from, I think I'm going to add one more song right at the end to the beginning. So the beginning is incredible. Because I always pick up speed as I'm going along and it gets better and better and better. So it already has an intro, but I think when I get to the end, I'm going to go back to the beginning and make a definitive statement about the whole thing in the form of a song that I will make there and then. And that's going to be epic. So we're 9 tracks in right now, baby. And yeah, it's amazing. And like I said, it's amazing and incredibly auspicious because I start making this new album last week. And then this week on TikTok, the song Art, which was the final song from the previous album, Jbpwave Father, has suddenly started going viral, and there's over 7,000 people have uploaded videos of themselves making art to the song Art, which is really beautiful. So I think this is the right thing to be doing at this point in time. Shouts out to everybody locked in, baby. Shouts out to everybody locked in live. Shouts out to everybody listening on the replay. Shouts out to everyone listening on the podcast. Smash that like. Leave a review. High five the neighbor. You are more than who you are. You're more important than you think. And you are more than who you are. Or you could be more than who you are. Oh. Oh! Ah, you could be.
Bite off a little more than you can chew, you get stronger.
Ah, you could
and
be.
you do that in the gym. For example, when you go lift weights, you lift weights that are a little heavier all the
Ah,
time.
you could
And as a
be.
consequence, you develop yourself physically and you turn into who you could be. You turn
Ah,
into
you
more
could
than you
be.
are.
More than who you are. Ah, you could be. More than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. Ah, you could be. More than who you are. More than you are.
There's a mythological trope that I discuss fairly frequently about rescuing your father from the belly of the dragon or the belly of the beast. You see it in The Lion King. You see it when Simba is being initiated by the baboon, and he ends up contemplating himself in a dark pool, and then his father appears in the sky. And then in the Pinocchio story, when he's trying to become a genuine human being, instead of a marionette pulled by other people's strings, or a liar, or a jackass, because those are his alternate destinies, he goes down to the darkest place he can find, the bottom of the ocean, and finds the biggest monster he can look at, and inside he finds his father, and then rescues him.
More than who you are. Ah, you could be. More than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. Ah, you could be. More than who you are. More than
The
you
question
are.
is, why do you find your father when you look into the abyss? Imagine someone's pursuing a goal. Some of the things they have to accomplish or confront on the way to that goal frighten them, and they start to avoid, and then they get more afraid, and their ability to pursue their goal or to accomplish their goal deteriorates because they're avoiding. If you're a psychotherapist or even a friend or a supportive loved one, I'm going to encourage the person to face the challenges that are making them afraid, to face them voluntarily. What happens as a consequence of that is that the person usually is able to overcome those fears and develop the necessary skill and to prevail. That's partly because, not so much because they get less afraid, but because they get more skilled and more courageous. If you bite off a little more than you can chew, you get stronger as a consequence. And you do that in the gym. For example, when you go lift weights, you lift weights that are a little heavier all the time. And as a consequence, you develop yourself physically and you turn into who you could be. You turn into more than you are. Okay, so if you face fears a little bit at a time, fears and challenges, and you do that voluntarily, then you become
More than who you are. Oh, you could be. More than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. Oh, you could be. More than who you are.
okay, now let's
More than
recast
you
that in
are.
archetypal language and make it into a kind of ultimate. If you want to become everything that you could be, then you look into the abyss itself. which is the darkest place that you can possibly contemplate. The terror of mortality and insanity and of suffering and of malevolence, all of those. It would be like looking into hell, I suppose. And then by voluntarily doing that, you call upon the strongest part of yourself to respond. And the strongest part of yourself is symbolized as the sleeping father nested inside the beast. It's like an answer to Nietzsche's conundrum. If you look long enough into an abyss, then the abyss looks into you. It's like, well, if you look long enough into an abyss, past when the abyss looks into you, you see who you could become in the form of the great ancestral figures nested inside the catastrophe of life. Then you can join them. You can incorporate that and become stronger. And none of that's going to happen without the demand that's placed on you by willing to confront the full terror of life, the reality of suffering and death, the ever-looming presence of malevolence in your own heart and in the heart of other people. So it's evil and suffering. If you do it forthrightly, then you discover who you could be as a consequence. And who you could be is the solution to malevolence and suffering.
More than who you are, or you could be. More than who you are, more than you are. More than who you are, or you could be. More than who you are, more than you are.
Such a brilliant conceptualization that inside the darkest place is the heroic ancestor whose identity you could incorporate. Perfect. It's perfect. And I really believe it's true. And what it does is it says that the human being is actually stronger than the greatest challenge that can be set before him or her. If you have a friend and you tell them bad news, they're actually sad, and you can tell them. They will listen. They'll listen. They'll take the damn pain, and they won't tell you about some worst thing that happened to them, defensively, say. Or they won't secretly be happy that you got knocked off your pedestal. They'll listen. And then the other thing is if you have a friend and something good happens to you, they're happy.
Like you have an ethical responsibility to take care of yourself, you have an ethical responsibility to surround yourself with people who have the courage and faith and wisdom to wish you well when you've done something good and to stop you when you're doing something destructive. And if your friends aren't like that, then they're not your friends. Make friends with people who want the best for you. Friends with people who want the best for you. People don't exactly understand it. It's okay morally to choose people that are trying to help you be better. And to shy away from people who are going to drag you down. Two drowned people is not an improvement over one.
Make friends with people who want the best for you. Make friends with people who want the best for you.
You're not morally obliged to go down with someone else's ship. Now you think that's pretty harsh and pretty rude. You can't abandon a friend in need. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it is appropriate for you to look at your social surround and to make decisions. You have a person who's hurting you and who won't quit and who's pulling you down. That is not necessary.
Make friends with people who want the best for you.
You go with people that are trying to elevate you.
Make friends with people who want the best for you.
You're obligated to associate with people who are making your life work.
Make friends with people who want the best for you.
You are obligated not to associate with people who are trying to damage the structure of being. your being, the family being, social being, all of that. Like, no. Wrong. Move away. Men don't struggle for power. That isn't what men do. Not if they're civilized. They size each other up and elect the competent to lead them.
Akira.
And they do that at every level of society. I worked in a rail crew in southern Saskatchewan. They're rough guys, like a lot of them had been in prison, you know. And when you first came onto the rail crew, you got a stupid nickname and people teased you. And I remember this one kid called Lunchbucket. That was his nickname because he came to the rail crew with a lunch bucket that looked like his mom had packed it. That was a bad idea. So they named him Lunch Bucket, which he wasn't very happy about. Well, that was a mistake. He should have taken it with a smile, and then he was always peevish and irritable, and if you asked him to do something, he'd whine. Soon, there's about 60 men on this crew. It stretched out about a quarter of a mile down the tracks. Soon, anonymous harassers were throwing pebbles at him during work. We had hard hats on, so the game was, let's see if we can hit that lunch bucket in the hard hat with a pebble. And then that was purposeful because he couldn't take a joke. It's like, well, let's see if he can take this joke. Clunk. And then it just got more and more peevish, and the pebbles got bigger and 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 bigger. And, you know, a week later, Lunch Bucket was gone, having not learned anything from the experience. But, you know, the men were testing him out. It's like, can you take a joke? Can you be useful? Can you at least be amusing? Is there something worthwhile about you? It's like, no. It's like, okay, well then, you're out of here. Because you never know when we actually might need to depend on you.
MAC, make some noise for Lunch Bucket. I think about Lunch Bucket quite often, you know. I wonder where he is now. What happened to him? Make some noise for Lunch Bucket, baby. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. No, to who someone else is today.
Clinical psychologist, and I spent 20 hours a week for 25 years listening to people tell me about their lives. And those people were people who were just barely hanging on to the bottom of the world, up to people who were so successful you can hardly believe it. Being a clinical psychologist, if you really listen, is like being immersed in a Dostoevsky novel all the time, you know, because it's amazing what people tell you if you listen to them, because they're so peculiar, like they're like penguins or rhinoceroses or ostriches, they're unlikely creatures.
Well, you got to improve, right? And you might think, well, I'm a real fixer-upper and I'm really embarrassed about that because there's 50 things wrong with me, and like, look at that guy, and so now I feel all terrible because of the comparison and all of that. And first of all, it's unfair, especially by the time you're about 30. Your life has become quite idiosyncratic. Let's say your life has 8 dimensions: family, friends, intimate relationships. You're individually positioned in all those dimensions. Your life isn't like anyone else's life. So you see someone who's doing better than you, it's like you're only seeing one dimension at one slice of time. So it's not reasonable. You don't have the whole picture. And then you get down on yourself and take the spirit out of yourself, and you get bitter and resentful. There's nothing good about that. But you do need to improve. There's not as much of you as there should be. So what's the comparison? Well, that's easy. Just say, okay, well, here's my position in time and space right now. Here's my virtues and fault. I can be a little bit better tomorrow in some minor way. Well, that's the right comparison, because you are very much like you. Everything's the same about you.
Everything's the same about you.
And so it's the perfect comparison. You just don't have insight into the tragedy of someone else's life. You might think, well, he's rich and successful. It's like, yeah, but you just don't know. You don't know what his relationship is with his wife or his children. You don't know that he's gone through 2 divorces and his daughter won't talk to him. One of his kids is schizophrenic. And the point is, you should be better than you are, but it's not because you're worse than other people. It's because you're not everything you should be. And so you got to pick the comparison right. And then that's also ennobling and instantly hopeful. There is absolutely no doubt that you can be slightly better tomorrow than you are today. There is definitely something that you can do today that will make you slightly better for the next day. Always. Okay. You're 85, you have Alzheimer's, you're done. Sometimes you're done. Most of the time you're not, and most of the time there's something within your grasp that you could put right. See, that's the fundamental issue. It's like life is tragic. It's full of suffering and it's full of malevolence. There's no doubt about that. And it's brutal. It's more brutal than you can even imagine in some ways, or willing to imagine. But there's something you could put right. And we don't know what would happen if you put everything you could right, if you put it right. And then we don't know what would happen if everyone did that. But you can be certain that it would be less tragic and less malevolent. And so, like...
You don't have anything better to do with Do you have anything better to do than that? M-A-Z. Because I don't. And that's why it's real beautiful listening to these songs, because each one of these songs has been a lesson to me. Each one of these songs is a kind of audio affirmation to teach myself something I want to learn, or to imprint instantly something I want to carry, Put something in there I want to be able to wrestle with and then understand. And when I made those records, I wasn't doing a lot of the stuff I needed to be doing. I was wasting a lot of time. I was wasting a lot of life. I wasn't everything I could be. I'm still not. But I'm a lot more now than I was then. Just from those incremental improvements, just a little bit every day. That's all you gotta do, just a little bit every day. Make that your system. And make that aim be congruence with your highest self, your true nature. And just a little bit every day. A smile at someone here, a favor there, a good deed here, a kettlebell swing there, high five there. You'll get there, baby. It's inevitable. You just gotta burn off that deadwood. Fool.
Should move forward in time with me.
Yeah!
And what should be let go as if it's dead wood.
Yeah!
The more dead wood that you let go of and burn off, when you have the opportunity, the less it accretes around you.
Dead wood.
Deadwood. Deadwood. Deadwood.
Here's something interesting about forest fires. People have been trying to prevent forest fires for a long time. It's because forest fires burn up the forest, and that can't be good. But here's what happens if you don't let forest fires burn. Forests collect a lot of dry branches, because tree branches die, and wood falls on the forest floor and collects. The amount of flammable material keeps increasing with time. And that's not so bad if it's wet, but if the amount of flammable material is increasing and it gets really dry, and then it burns, then you have a real problem. The forest fire can burn so hot that it burns the topsoil right off, in which case you don't have a forest at all anymore, you just have a desert. Dead wood. easier to let go of something when you're deciding to let go of it because you've decided yourself that you're done with that. It's a weak part of you. It needs to disappear. You do that yourself, it's much better and much easier than it is if it's taken away from you forcibly, in which case you're very much likely to fight it. Dead wood. Dead wood.
Dead wood.
Dead wood. As you elevate your aim, you create a judge at the same time. The new ideal, which is an ideal you, that becomes a judge because it's above you. The judge tells you what's useless about yourself, and then you can dispense with it. And you want to keep doing that, and then every time you make a judge that's more elevated, then there's more useless you that has to be dispensed with. And then if you create an ultimate judge, which is what the archetypal imagination of humankind has done, say, with the figure of Christ, you have a judge that says, get rid of everything about yourself that isn't perfect. Dead wood. Dead wood. Dead wood. Dead wood. It's a phoenix-like process, right? You're shedding all those elements of you that are no longer worthy of the pursuits that you're evaluating. And then I would say the idea here is that as you do that, you shape yourself ever more precisely into something that can withstand the tragedy of life and that can act as a beacon to the world. That's the right way of thinking about it. Maybe first to your friends and then to your family. It's like it's a hell of a fine ambition, and there's no reason that it can't happen. You know, every one of you knows people who are really bloody useful in a crisis and people that you admire, right? You can think of all those people as the partial incarnations of the archetypal Messiah. And it's exactly right. Dead wood.
Dead wood. MSD makes some noise, baby. Dead wood. Dead wood.
Dead wood. Manifests itself in any given person, then the more generally useful and admirable that person is in a multitude of situations. And we don't know the limit to that.
We don't know the limit to that, baby. Limit to that, baby. Dead wood. Dead wood.
Yo, make some noise for that Deadwood, baby. If you want to be a phoenix, first you must burn.
Finding out what you're doing wrong is not a pleasant experience, and it means that you have to sacrifice part of yourself. Usually a burned out, stupid, bitter, corrupt, arrogant, nasty, vengeful part of yourself, but nonetheless part that you like. I think that room for those incremental improvements exists within everyone's grasp. And I think that it's a humble thing to do, to ask how you can improve incrementally without interfering with anyone else, like it's your problem, not theirs. But I think that the consequences of maintained incremental improvement are anything but incremental. You get compound interest on incremental improvement. There's another rule in the New Testament called the Matthew Principle. Economists use it, and the rule is, to those who have everything, more will be given. And from those who have nothing, everything will be taken. To those who have everything, more will be given. And from those who have nothing, everything will be taken. It's actually a description of the way the world works. You know that if you've ever played Monopoly. To those who have everything, more will be given. And from those who have nothing, everything will be taken. And there's a reason for that, that's a deep reason. And it's a very harsh rule, because it means as you start to wander off the path, the probability that you will wander further off the path increases non-linearly. And that's a terrible thing to know. As you wander towards the edge, the probability that you'll fall off the cliff increases. And that's statistical justification for the concept of hell. But as you improve, the probability that each improvement will produce a further improvement increases. And so perhaps the downside is the cataclysmic catastrophe that you can engage upon if you reproduce your moral failings. But the upside is that each improvement produces an increment in the probability of the next improvement. To those who have everything, more will be given. And from those who have nothing, everything will be taken. To those who have everything, more will be given. And from those who have nothing, everything will be taken. It's actually a description of the way the world works. You know that if you've ever played Monopoly. To those who have everything, more will be given. And from those who have nothing, everything will be taken. If you're a behavioral psychologist, and I am a behavioral psychologist, what you do is you help a person establish their aim, then you break down what they're trying to do into attainable units. The general consequence of that is that every time they manage an accomplishment, they get a little stronger in character, they get a little bit more confident in their ability, they get a little bit less racked with self-disgust, they get a little bit more hopeful about the future, and they get more confident that they can make another change. And if you're patient, and you have to be patient with yourself that way, it's like you reward those incremental improvements and you don't get all cynical about them, and you think, okay, just imagine what would happen if you kept doing that every week for 10 years. And the answer to that is, things would be so much better for you that you can't even imagine it. With that much improvement. Or maybe even with half that much improvement. To those who have everything, more will be given. And from those who have nothing, everything will be taken. To those who have everything, more will be given. And from those who have nothing, everything will be taken. It's actually a description of the way the world works. You know that if you've ever played Monopoly. To those who have everything, more will be given. And from those who have nothing, everything will be taken.
Hey, see, make some noise. Oh! That is far too real. That's so real. It's so real.
So that's a very good way of progressing.
Make some noise. That real progress, baby. You versus you. To the death. Respecting, baby, how you doing that?
This is the Peter Pan story.
This is the Peter Pan story.
Peter Pan is this magical boy. Pan is the god of everything, roughly speaking. It's not an accident that he has the name Pan. And he's the boy that won't grow up. And he's magical. Well, that's because children are magical. They can be anything. They're nothing but potential. Peter Pan doesn't want to give that up. Why? Well, he's got some adults around him, but the main adult is Captain Hook. Who the hell wants to grow up to be Captain Hook? First of all, you've got a hook. Second, you're a tyrant. And third, you're chased by the dragon of chaos with a clock in its stomach. The crocodile, it's already got a piece of you. Well, that's what happens when you get older. Time has already got a piece of you. And eventually, it's got a taste for you. And eventually, it's going to eat you. Hook is so traumatized by that he can't help but be a tyrant. And then Peter Pan looks at traumatized Hook and says, well, no, I'm not sacrificing my childhood for that. He ends up king of the Lost Boys. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. You're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. And who the hell wants to be king of the Lost Boys? And he also sacrifices the possibility to have a real relationship with a woman, because that's Wendy. She wants to grow up and have kids and have a life. She accepts her mortality. She accepts her maturity. Peter Pan has to content himself with Tinkerbell. She doesn't even exist. She's like the fairy of porn. She doesn't exist. She's the substitute for the real thing. There's a sacrificial element in maturation. You have to sacrifice the pluripotentiality of childhood for the actuality of a frame. Well, why would you do that? One reason is it happens to you whether you do it or not. You can either choose your damn limitation, or you can let it take you unaware when you're 30, or even worse, when you're 40. That is not a happy day. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. You're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. When you're 25, you can be an idiot. It's no problem. Okay, well now you're the same person at 30. It's like people aren't so thrilled about you at that point. It's like, what the hell have you been doing for the last 10 years? Well, I'm just as clueless as I was when I was 22. Yeah, but you're not 22. You're an old infant. And that's an ugly thing. You choose your damn sacrifice because the sacrifice is inevitable. But at least you get to choose it. The problem with being a child is that all you are is potential. And it's really low resolution. You could be anything, but you're not anything. So then you go and you adopt an apprenticeship. At least you become something. And when you're something, that makes the world open up to you again. If you're a really good plumber, then you end up being far more than a plumber. You end up being a good employer. Run a business, you train some other people, you enlarge their lives, you're kind of a pillar of the community, you have your family. It's family. Once you pass through that narrow training period, which narrows you and constricts you and develops you at the same time, then you can come out the other end with a bunch of new possibility at hand. And Jung talked about that. He thought that part of the proper path of development in the last half of life was to rediscover the child that you left behind as you were apprenticing. And so then you get to be something and regain that potential at the same time. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. You're sacrificial whether you want to be or not. Sacrifice. You get to pick your damn sacrifice. That's all. Sacrifice. You don't get to not make one. You're sacrificial whether you want to be or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sacrifice, baby. You get to pick that sacrifice, and that's it. So what you gonna do with that power inside of you? Well, I always say, pick a thing and go all in. Pick a thing and go all in. Get in the zone, refuse to leave. Who knows what you might achieve? You could be a writer. You could be a road sweeper. You could be a plumber. Just be a good one, you know?
We need to know who the competent people are, and we need to reward them. And even more importantly, we need to tell young people, hey, there's some hierarchies of competence out there. Like 1,000 of them. Go be a plumber, man. Be a good one, you know? Be an honest one. Because otherwise all you do is go out there and cause trouble. We don't need people to cause more trouble. We need people to solve problems. Solve problems.
Hey! We need people to solve problems.
Solve problems. We don't need people to cause more trouble.
We need people to solve problems.
Solve problems.
Go be a plumber, man.
Go be a plumber, man.
Go be a plumber, man. Go be a plumber, man. We need people to
Be a good one, you know?
What? Solve problems. Hey! We need people to solve problems.
You know, and so you can be a tradesman, and you can make a lot of money as a tradesperson. It's a bloody, reliable, honorable, forthright, productive way of making a living. Way of making a living. And there is a hell of a lot of difference between a working man who knows what he's doing and one who doesn't. Both in terms of skill and ethics, right? And you work with someone who knows what they're doing, it's a bloody pleasure. They tell you what they're going to do, they tell you how much it will cost, they go and do it, it works, and you pay them. Perfect. Everyone's happy. And that's what happens when you have genuine hierarchies of competence.
We need people to solve problems. Go be a plumber, man. We need people to solve problems. We need people to solve problems.
We don't need people to cause more trouble. We need people to solve problems. Solve problems. We need people to solve problems. We don't need people to cause more trouble. We need people to solve problems.
Hey!
Go be a plumber, man.
We need people to
Go be a plumber, man.
go be a plumber, man.
Go be a plumber, man.
Be a good one, you know.
Be a good one, you know? Be a
Hey!
There you have it, baby. That was part 1 of Jbpwave Chronicle. We're going to be doing one of these every week up until the release of the new album. We'll do one of these every week, counting up to the release of the new album. What each one of these is doing is going back into the Jbpwave archives and presenting it in a storytelling fashion, you know, in a way that tells the story and gets us up to speed, baby. And then we're gonna hit you a whoops upside the head. with that new Jbp. We just hit your whoops upside the head with that new MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces by Joe. What? Shouts out to everyone who's been copying that. You can buy that on Bandcamp now, baby. Go download that thing. Go stream it on YouTube as well if you want to do that. Shouts out to everybody locked in. What's up, Patrick Smith? What up, Cindy Bailey? What up, Angie Burrows? What? That was epic. Hey. Shouts out to everybody locked in. God bless you. Patrick Smith says, be a good DJ like Akira. Man, yeah. Yeah. That's right. YouTube Hero Alex says, grab yourself an exclusive MEANINGWAVE monolith. Now available for a limited time only. That's right. Did you not know? See this thing here in the middle of my desk? The thing that is on the cover of the MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces 2 album. This beautiful steel structure. This beautiful work of art. The artist in question, Daniel Elliott, is making these for a limited time. You can cop them now at meaningwave.com. Again, if you're on my Instagram, you'll have seen me post some pictures of these earlier, some behind the scenes of these things. They're looking very cool. Let me pull those up, see if I can show them on the close-up camera. Hey, close-up camera, what's cracking with you? Yeah. These things are crazy. Look at this thing. Look at these things. Solid steel. What is it? Like 9 gauge or 16 gauge? I've got to look that up. But they're being constructed right now. We'll be shipping this week. Section. They have LED lights in them. You know, they light up. Very epic. Oh, that's one. What's going on there? Yeah, that was me dancing to a new song in the studio earlier. Very, very fly, Akira The Don. Hey. Anyway, yeah, go to meaningwave.com and you can get a MEANINGWAVE monolith. People have been asking me to be able to get these for a long time, and now you actually can. And what's beautiful is they're made in the USA by a member of the MEANINGWAVE community. Dan Elliott was a massive MEANINGWAVE fan, and he made me this as a gift, God bless him, and it was beautiful. And then he made a couple more, you know, and we sent one to YouTube Hero Alex, and we sent one to Diverting Tales. And those are the only ones that exist. Now, though, there's some being made for you. Shouts out to everyone that's already ordered theirs. Shouts out to everyone that ordered Wave vinyl. They're shipping this week. We got it all in the crib. Macdonald is getting them mailing lists and all that business together, weighing and packagings and all that craziness. We're getting Hercules in on it. Shouts out to everyone who gets a package with a Hercules signature. That's gonna be epic. Yeah! MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces is gonna drop on Spotify and all that business this Friday. Mac Carter says the nicest group chat ever is on this stream. Isn't that the case? That really is the case. People are always amazed when people discover MEANINGWAVE. They go, Akira The Don, I'm so glad MEANINGWAVE exists and the music's really wonderful, but then I found the community. Everyone's so epic and so cool and so nice and so supportive. How is this even possible, Akira The Don? I'm like, what else would it be? It's weird to me that you go to other places and they're not like this. You go to other people's chat areas and you're like, whoa, that broken window thing that theory is real, huh? That theory is a correct theory. We don't got no broken windows around here. We keep our shit clean, baby. We got YouTube Hero Alex in the house. He's like Rudy Giuliani. He's like Rudy Giuliani in 2000. Yo, he keep the shit clean. Yo. What up, YouTube Hero Alex? Shouts out to you. Make some noise in the chat for YouTube Hero Alex by Joe. I'm gonna play you a couple more songs. Hey. Hey. Shouts out to Natural Phenomenon. This is, I'm gonna play you a couple songs. This song right here, this is from MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces. What?
Akira.
Let's get it.
I was talking about that this weekend. Thinking a lot about it. I think the two basic types of music indigenous to this country are the black music, blues, and the folk music that was brought over from Europe. And I guess they call it country music, or the kind of West Virginia high and lonesome sound. Those are the two main streams of root American music. It looks like 10 years ago what they called rock and roll was kind of a blending of those two forms. And I guess what's happening now is rock is kind of dying out, and everyone is going back to the roots again. Some are going back into country, and some are going back into basic blues. I guess in 4 or 5 years, the new generation's music will be, it'll have a synthesis of those two elements and some third thing. Maybe it'll be, it might rely heavily on electronics.
Tapes.
I can kind of envision maybe one person with a lot of machines. One person with a lot of machines. One person with a lot of machines. Singing or speaking and using machines. One person with a lot of machines. One person with a lot of machines. One person with a lot of machines. Singing or speaking and using machines. Singing or speaking and using machines. Aye, singing or speaking and using machines. Singing or speaking and using machines. Singing or speaking. What? Using machines. Aye. Using machines. Using machines. Singing or speaking and using machines. Using machines. MAC! What? Shouts out to Jim Morrison predicting MEANINGWAVE in the 70s. What a guy. A lot of machines. One person with a lot of machines. One person with a lot of machines. Singing or speaking and using 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 machines. Hey! What up, though? MAZ! Welcome to the MEANINGWAVE Autonomous Zone, baby! Hey! Using machines. That's right, baby. Can't believe he got it so specifically correct. People be like, oh yeah, Jim Morrison, he was predicting EDM. You know, he was predicting EDM because like one person, a lot of machines, you know, DJ. Yeah, but like he was a bit more specific than that, wasn't he? There. He said one person with a lot of machines singing or speaking and using machines. Speaking! People always forget about the speaking part. What does MEANINGWAVE contain that no other contemporary form of music contains in such a... consistent fashion? It's that speaking, baby. What? We're here. Jim Morrison reckoned that was going to happen in about 4 years after he said that in 1973 or whatever it was. Well, it took a little longer than that, but we're here now, baby, by Jove. We are here. And it's a good job we are. Because it was right on time that the world needed this record.
stuff.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men, with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery. Fight for liberty! In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. A decent world that will give men a chance to work, that will give you the future and old age and security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
MAC makes noise! Yo! I find stuff. God bless MAZ. There's the Great Dictator featuring Charlie Chaplin from the new album MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces 2. Smash that like, make some noise. And God bless you. Brave citizens of the MAZ, thank you for being here tonight. A glorious, beautiful, epic, joyful occasion. We celebrated and we're grateful for and to Canada in general and the Peterson family. Make some noise for the Petersons. What? Make some noise for Norm Macdonald. Brother Norm, thank you for that song. Thank you each and every one of you who's been here tonight. With your energy, with your excellent vibes, with your excellent conversation, your excellent cheer. Big shout out to everyone who supported during this thing. Without you, we could not do this thing, and so to you, we are grateful. Make some noise in the chat for the following. Make some noise, Mike Betters. Make some noise for Prince Jbpwave XV, Angelo Zimmerman, David Howe, Freya Cat, Alec Moran, Rick Adelcy, Natural Phenomenon, Citratej, Richard Young. Shouts out to our new member, Case. Well, existing member who upgraded to level 2. God bless you, Case. You can go get your download of this new album. It's waiting for you on the members tab. If you want to be a member of this channel, that's a great way of supporting the wave. You get access to all those dope emojis. If you're in the chat and you're like, why these people got these sick emojis? Where they get their sick emojis from? That's where they get it. You're a member of the channel, you get the sick emojis. That's how it works. Hey, if you want to support the channel, you can do that. Yeka Boogie. Go, wow, this instrumental is amazing. Yes, that's true. You can go to MEANINGWAVE.com, get yourself some epic garments. You can get a nice t-shirt like the one I'm wearing now. Look, what does this t-shirt say? It says MEANINGWAVE exists. As if you can get a t-shirt that says MEANINGWAVE exists. That's helpful to let people know that MEANINGWAVE exists. That's one of those great things you can do. What a plastic owl. Welcome to the channel, baby. What? What a Matt Carter. Appreciate the support, baby. Go to MEANINGWAVE.com, get yourself an epic shirt like this one. You can also get yourself an epic thing like this. You can get yourself a MEANINGWAVE monolith. Look at this thing. This beautiful three-dimensional thing, brushed steel, made by a real American craftsman, artist. Amazing. Shouts out to that. Shouts out to Dan Elliott all day. So yeah, those are things you can do. You can, you can do all those things. You can go to Spotify, cop the playlist. We got new playlists waiting for you. We just added new ones. We're adding new playlists all the time. Hey! But yeah, the most important thing you can do is let the people know this fact that it says on my shirt, MEANINGWAVE exists. We don't have no marketing. We don't have no record label. We don't have no managers. We don't have no agents. The music press has never mentioned us once. They pretend we don't exist. And yet here we are. 160,000 people listened to MEANINGWAVE music just on Spotify last month. Let alone all the other places. And that's all because of you. That's all down to you. Every person you tell who gets into this thing, who becomes a rider of this wave, they then let other people know, and that's how we grow, baby. That's how the wave becomes a tsunami. And that's how you get all these epic albums. More and more epic albums coming. We got a brand new Alan Watts album coming in a matter of weeks, days. No matter what, it's a short amount of days. It's complete, it's amazing. We got a JBP album in process. It's gonna be amazing. So far it's amazing. We've got amazing Christmas albums coming. We've got the return of the big monster man himself coming very soon. I'm going to say that now, so I don't like spoiling surprises. But if you look at the track listing of MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces 2, that gives you an idea of a load of amazing things that are coming next year. Shouts out to Graham Hancock. Shouts out to Norm Macdonald. Shouts out to Theo Vaughn. And shouts out to you, brothers and sisters. Thank you for being here and sharing your light with us and the world. Join me now for By 5. We'll be back tomorrow at the same bad time, the same Don channel, same Don time, same Don show. We're on Twitch at 7 a.m. CT every morning, having a very, very joyful time. So come join us over there on Twitch at 7 a.m. CT if that works for your time zone situation. And if not, you can always catch the replay. We're on the podcast feed. This broadcast and the other broadcast, the 2 daily broadcasts, both go on the podcast feed, so you can listen to it there. Even if it gets yeeted here. Sometimes it does, because we're just too powerful. We're too OP. Powerful and oppressed. Cock back, baby. 3, 2, 1. Thank you for being here, you beautiful creatures. Go forth and be mighty.